Hi everyone, Canoopsy here, and in this episode of the Phone Battles, I'll be comparing the iPhone X to the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. In this episode of the Phone Battles, I'll be comparing a few major key things regarding the iPhone X to the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. So these things are the designs, the displays, daily usability, and the cameras. For an even more in-depth comparison, I covered a lot more points in my iPhone 8 Plus versus Galaxy Note 8 comparison. Regardless, let's get started. First, the iPhone X's design alone is a feature. Made of glass and stainless steel, it looks beautiful and feels great too. Of course, the entire front of the phone being a screen is a big perk. The notch is still there of course, but chances are you'll probably forget that it's even there during daily usage. The Note 8 is also a gorgeous phone and still has those ultra-thin front bezels. The phone itself is made of glass and aluminum, and I think this new electric blue color looks hella sick in person. While the construction and general hand feel of the Note 8 is incredibly good, the one issue with the phone is the glass. For some really strange reason, the Note 8's back glass gets scratched and chipped incredibly easily, and it's just terrible. You can easily fix this issue with a debraned skin on the back to prevent those surface scratches and small nicks. I'd also recommend looking at a skin for your iPhone X because replacing that back panel for any damage is half the price of the phone itself. Link down below. But in general, each of these phones look beautiful. The iPhone X is much more of a head turner, but the overall more practical design is the Note 8, if you don't mind the sheer size. In terms of security, the Note 8 has more options. There's facial recognition, a fingerprint scanner, iris scanning, and compared to the iPhone X, there's just facial recognition. On the Note 8, facial recognition is plenty fast, but compared to the iPhone X, the iPhone is generally more reliable, more secure, and just a better overall experience. However, on the Note, it's actually one less step to log you in, you don't have to swipe up, so technically it is a bit faster than the iPhone X, but you lose that final element of security. Now, iris scanning usually does work in most situations, but in those off situations when it doesn't work, it's kind of annoying, and the fingerprint scanner is just way too high up, so I've totally stopped using it. Now let's talk about those displays. The iPhone X has a 5.8-inch 2436 by 1125 edge-to-edge OLED panel, with of course that notch right in the center. And the Note 8 has a 6.3-inch 2960 by 1440 Super AMOLED panel. So these displays are both incredibly stunning, but there are a few points you should definitely know about. The first being the Note 8 is actually the better phone for video watching. The iPhone has this weird 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio compared to the already pretty weird 18.5 by 9 Note 8 aspect ratio. So on the iPhone X, there are black borders on the left and right of the screen, making it look like an iPhone 7 when you're actually watching videos and looking at pictures and stuff, but you thankfully can pinch to zoom in. But when you do zoom in, you lose a whole bunch of content. And plus that notch also does cover up some aspects of your content, but pretty much you just forget that it's there. And also with the iPhone X, a whole bunch of applications still aren't supported, so you have these huge top and bottom bezels and it looks just like an iPhone 7, like I just mentioned. The whole point of that screen isn't really utilized yet. Now for just some general display looks, the Note 8 for sure has the more vibrant and punchy screen, but the brighter screen actually goes to the iPhone X, surprisingly. In person, you can definitely tell the iPhone X is the brighter panel for sure. There's also been a whole bunch of extensive testing on multiple websites as well. The iPhone X's display is also a bit more accurate than the Note 8's display, but the Note still has amazing colors, great contrast, still some pretty good brightness, and better viewing angles than the iPhone X. The Note 8 also takes better advantage of its screen size. By adding in split-screen multitasking, floating windows, picture-in-picture stuff, it's a great experience with such a large screen. And I wish the iPhone X actually used the bigger screen that it now has. It's just one application, and that's it. There's also the question of 3D Touch versus an S Pen. Now 3D Touch is more of a daily practical thing that I personally use every single day, while the S Pen is more of an occasional thing that I just sometimes use. If you do a lot of drawing, signing documents, and just navigating with the S Pen, it may be worth it for you, but for me personally, 3D Touch is something I use even more often than the S Pen. The iPhone X also has those fancy new softer gestures to make up for the lack of the home button, and these gestures you can easily get used to and even enjoy. The only things I don't like are multitasking, accessing the control center, and bringing up notifications. It's just kind of an awkward and unintuitive experience. And of course, those lame unsupported apps make for a very mediocre experience in those applications, but besides that, the overall fluidity and experience is just unmatched. And I'm sure for many years this phone is going to stay very fast and updated to the latest software for quite a while. And the Note 8, even after a few months of usage, is still great. There are some traces of lag here and there throughout the software, and I'm not really the biggest fan of Samsung's really heavy software experience, but either way, the features available make it awesome. The amount of customization, in-depth software features, and productivity features available make the phone kind of hard to give up sometimes when I'm using a stock Android phone or an iPhone. The feature set is unmatched. An area where the Note 8 has the lead though is in battery life. I've spent a few days with the iPhone X so far, and battery life has been okay, but not really what I expected. Now I am a pretty heavy user, so this could just be my usage, but from my testing so far, I reach about 20% by the early evening, which does not even compare to the iPhone 8 Plus. While the Note 8 and iPhone 8 Plus have very good battery life. You start the day at 100% very early morning, and by the evening you have around 40 or 50% remaining. Now this could be my units, this could be my usage, but for now, my battery life on the iPhone X hasn't been so great. Let me know in the comments down below what you've been experiencing so I can compare, but I wish it was a bit better. Also, the iPhone X charges extremely slow with its included power brick, so you have to go out and buy an entirely new power brick to get that quick charging. Now the final thing is the camera experience. Both phones have dual 12 megapixel rear cameras. The Note 8 has an 8 megapixel selfie camera, while the iPhone X has a 7 megapixel selfie camera. Starting with selfies, the Note 8 has better looking selfies most of the time if you turn off that terrible beauty mode, but the iPhone X also takes some great looking shots with dynamic range that's just a bit better as well. The iPhone X also has those really fun portrait mode features on the front facing camera, so you can do the whole blurred background thing, the mono stage light thing, all those fun effects. They're all available on the iPhone X, so it makes for a bit better of an overall selfie experience. For pictures with the main cameras, either phone produces some really excellent results. Now for note photos, if you zoom in, there's a bit more of a clear look to the shots, they're a bit sharper and crisper. I find that HDR does perform better on the iPhone X, and just shot after shot after shot, they look quite good. But choosing a clear winner here is a bit of a challenge. Each phone has its own strengths and weaknesses. And also for low light, each phone also has its own strengths as well. In a lot of occasions the iPhone actually has the better looking shot, but the Note 8 usually has the brighter looking shot. So once again, it's kind of up in the air. Each phone also has a second telephoto camera, but the iPhone usually leads here with its much better looking results. Things look crisper, and things look brighter and just better. And also for portrait mode, the iPhone X wins here too. For people it looks much more real and much more accurate, plus it's also just way more reliable. The Note can sometimes cut out subjects and blur backgrounds a bit better, but for the reliability factor, the iPhone X pretty much wins for portrait mode. For video, each phone has dual stabilized cameras, so it's a bit more of a comparable experience, but the iPhone X also has the lead of 60 frames per second 4K video. The stabilization on the iPhone is a bit more natural and just everything consistently looks great with iPhone footage. The Note also has some really great looking footage as well, and stabilization has gotten much more acceptable, but it's still a bit strange looking. The Note seems to actually handle highlights much better than the iPhone X as well outdoors, and also colors in the Note look much more realistic than previous Note phones, and the footage just looks quite good. Choosing a phone to shoot videos, I'd probably choose the iPhone X for the overall reliability and great quality, but the Note handles itself incredibly well for videos, especially outdoors, and plus it has a micro SD card slot, so you can store videos on there as well. So as a summary, each of these phones are really good overall. They both cost a lot, they both offer some great features, great hardware, some good software features, but the phone that offers the most amount of stuff for the price you're just paying is the Note 8. There's a bigger screen, bigger battery, an S Pen, more software features, and there's just more to the phone as it is a Samsung phone. But the iPhone X is still a great overall phone. There's some great hardware features, great software features, an amazing camera experience, and the experience as a whole is very refined refined and very developed if you don't mind iOS. If you choose either of these phones though, you're getting a great overall device you're probably gonna love for a few years. And I want to hear what you choose in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, and thank you for watching.